welcome to the Premier Division Review Show. Again, Cian Menton is back today. Cian, what's up?
How are you, bud? Are
Great stuff. And Philip is back. He looks like you're in jail, Philip.
Lock me up. I tell you, it's not too bad in the old joy here now. A few scoops, say nothing, watching the League of Ireland on a Friday night. So what else would you be at?
Speaking of jail, I suppose Shamrock Rovers got out of jail in a sense, Philip. Came from 2 down to beat, you like that, Cian? Came from 2 down to beat Derry City by 4 goals to 2 at the brand new end. Boyce Jr. with a penalty, he scored in 31. But that goal, I think, Philip, from Graham Burke right in half-time, proved to be crucial. Finn, Gaffney and Tell scoring on the space of about 15 minutes in the second half. After their European match against Slovan, it was a big, big result to win this, and probably the way they won it as well, I think.
Yeah, well, if I'm looking at it, Keith, the first half was absolutely abysmal. And the fact we scored against Derry, if it was to be any other time that we were playing Derry, like I would have thought maybe we might not win the game, especially up there. We've obviously discussed it, Keith. We both think that Higgins got he got it right in the first half, but he changed it, and he shouldn't have changed it, because although Rovers scored, they didn't look dangerous, and like they played us off the park in the first half. I just thought.
What do you think he changed tactically, though, Philip, in this match that was wrong as such?
So,
what do you think?
After half time, he went to a 5. He didn't match us. I think it was a 5. From what I seen, I kind of tried to look back on it, but it wasn't the same. He went man for man in the first half, and it was bulletproof. Even though Rovers scored, it was just a pot shot from coming into the box from Burke. Great finish all the same, but I just think that overall, after the first half, I thought the game was going to be probably there for Rovers, but you would have expected Derry, with the way they played in the first half, to do it in the second, and they just didn't. And the thing was, he actually went back then to matching Rovers for the formation after they conceded the 3 goals in the second half when the game is over. But saying that, you can look at him. I personally thought he lost the game. There was a couple of individual mistakes as well. Toll was at fault for one of the goals at least. Got caught flat-footed. And
very uncharacteristic from him, isn't it?
You took the words out of my mouth, Keith, So, look, obviously, Keith, with the circumstances of coming off a big result in Europe, even though we didn't go through, we did win the game. It just didn't look like Rovers were tired. And I did think that was the case in the first half when Derry outplayed us, as I said. But when they changed it, Rovers were just a different animal. And Richie Tell was phenomenal when he came off the bench. I could talk about the second half all night, Keith, but I won't, because I'm interested to hear what Keno has to say about it.
Well, on, Keno. Go for it.
Before we even start, I have to say, since I've come back, you've turned into a little Brian Kerr. Fair play to you.
Is that a compliment, or?
Don't get me started.
No, honestly, I thought it was a game of 2 halves, really was. Simple as. There's no other way of saying it. Derry were by far. Look, I was at the Pats game now, and like, you heard the people, Derry are 1 up, Derry are 2 up, and they're saying, Jesus, right, they're at least going to get a draw here. And Rovers are at least going to drop something, man. It was one of them things where they just got the goal. Sometimes you need that bit of luck, and I think Rovers got it in the first half. Now, second half, they came out all guns blazing. I think it was a bit of both. It was a bit of Derry sitting back and giving them a bit too much respect, and it was a bit of Rovers going for it. So I think both teams were at it there, but Rovers were just they showed what I've wanted to see from Shamrock Rovers since probably I can't even say, look, probably since last September or October time. They have
been scoring goals on their team, haven't they? 3 against Dundalk, 2 against Slovan, a good side, obviously, and then 4 here. So that side of the play's improved, hasn't it?
Now, I would have took a draw, considering the tough game they had on Thursday night, which they played absolutely out of their skin. Now, I do think it was a bit of a soft call from Lopez. I think he got bundled over, and probably European football, you kind of expect a free kick. Even though, like, if that was the League of Ireland, now I don't think it was a free kick either. But in Europe, you know, different referees and all, you say, yeah, they're gonna blow up for everything. So I was surprised to see him not given for a free now because it's Europe, but in the League of Ireland, never a free. So, you know, they will feel a little bit hard done by, and, you know, they could have easily felt sorry for themselves, and, you know, they have a lot of big players there that probably, you know, you're going to play then a tough Derry City side, and I think maybe they kind of did feel a little bit sorry for themselves and thought, you know, it's obviously they got rattled, but like I said, second half, different animals came out, all guns blazing. Like Richie Towell, I thought was everywhere. He was pulling the strings. He was doing everything that Arden McAneff done for Rovers, if not, and Richie Towell was probably doing it better. He's been a great signing so far, and I think anyone that doesn't think so needs to watch the European game back, especially. Not only his finish, his work off the ball, his work rate was exceptional in both games, and I think that's a credit to himself because, you know, he's a few miles on the clock, but, you know, I thought his fitness levels were top notch, which you'd expect to be, but, you know, he hasn't played in about 6 weeks. He had about 6 weeks off before he signed for Rovers, so, you know, he's come back, he's done really well, and I think he's the bright spark for Rovers going forward, and, you know, if they are, I still think they're champions. They're going to be champions, and I think it's down to how Richie Towell performs. And I said it a few weeks ago. I said if you're relying on Richie Towell, you're a little bit worried. But, you know what? I wouldn't be anymore now. I really wouldn't. I think probably Philip was surprised as well at how well he's been for Shamrock Rovers so far. Look, it's early days. We see this in the league all the time. You know, Adam Foley and stuff like that scored and goals, then they go hiding as such. You know what I mean? So
the only difference is, with Richie Towell, we know what he can do from the forward.
Yeah, like Richie, you know, he has a really, really good chance now to do something special at Rovers, and you know, I think it's a great move so far. Obviously, it's worked out so far, but look, there's a long way of the season to go. 1 or 2 games could go, and you know, we'll see how it is, but no, worthy champions. Go on, Philip.
Yeah, sorry, Keno. I just wanted to jump in, Keith. I didn't say in the review show. I actually spoke to Ronan Finn straight after the European game, and he said there was 2 fouls in the game in the build up to the goal. There was one down in the corner where Rovers had the throw in, and then obviously the Pico one as well. But he said like absolute daylight robbery. So like that's just probably an insight from the Rovers perspective. But look, they won the game on the night, and as you said, Keith, they really represented the country and the league well. And I think we've got a favourable draw now as well with this Europa Conference. So there's no reason why we can't progress into the next round.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll move on to Richmond Park and finish St. Patricks Leg 2, Drogheda United 0. Chris Forrester on 61. Robbie Benson on 79. Before I kind of talk about the game, I'll start with Cian this one. Cian, I was thinking the other day about Robbie Benson here. I still think his performance this season have been a little underrated. Pats have lost 4 matches this season, right? For 3 of them, Benson wasn't involved in. Do you remember Pats went in that mini kind of dodgy run? Benson was injured for that dodgy run. Yeah. He's come back. I thought the last day against Drogheda, especially the more the game went on, he drove past through midfield. For the goal, he got into a great area. I mean, Smith gets in behind, but Benson, you still have to get there, don't you? You don't finish very well as well. I just think we've talked about Forrester, we've often talked about Alfie Lewis at different times. But I think Robbie Benson has been absolutely brilliant for Pats this season.
Actually. Yeah, I think, you know, he's probably underrated for everyone else who at Richmond Park. But, you know, anyone in Richmond Park, anyone at Pats knows what Robbie does. And, you know, I think, I wouldn't say he's underrated in Richmond at all.
No, certainly not. I'd
say around the league, yeah. But, look, Pats had it all their own way in this game. There's no 2 ways about it. It's unlike Drogheda. And, you know what, really, really unlike them. So I'm not going to give them too much criticism at all. We've had performances like that. Rovers have had them. Pats have had them. Sligo are probably going through a little patch now as well. So, you know, it happens to the best of teams. But I just think Drogheda, I think they gave a little bit again too much respect to Pats a little bit. And I thought when they did get the ball forward, they only had one chance really that went over the bar. In my opinion, that was really Jesus. They could have scored there. Do you know what I mean? I think it was Desmond got caught. Going down the left, they were attacking down the left hand side. Desmond got caught, went in. I think it was Mark Doyle put it over the bar.
Mark Doyle, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the only real worry.
There's another one I think, Cian, in fairness, where it dropped to Phillips, but he got a bit of a nosebleed. I think Phillips, he's a good player, but you're hoping from their point of view that that's fallen to a Doyle or a Lyons. But they were very early in the match.
Yeah.
And I think Pats kind of took over fairly quickly then.
Yeah, Pats were always, to be honest, at half time as well. I was saying it to yourself.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how easy it was for Pats. They had it all their own way. They just couldn't score. Corner after corner. Don't know what Pats were doing. There's a lot of corners going to the back post that kind of didn't really work out. I think they had 2 or 3 or 4 even that went to the back post, and we kind of never really led to anything. I thought, look, second half we came out, we obviously got the goal early enough, and you're starting to say to yourself, okay, let's get another one here, so we're not hanging off at their life.
Very awareness by Burns, actually, wasn't it? I mean,
Burns, like, what a player! Like, it's an absolute privilege to look at an out-and-out right winger, an old school right winger who just gets the ball and just loves dribbling and driving at the fullbacks. The fullbacks absolutely shit themselves when Darragh Burns is on the ball, because you don't know, he can go inside on his left, he can cut outside on his right and swing it in. He's absolutely exceptional on the ball, and his awareness. He's a young lad. He's 18. That ball comes in. I want that goal. He had the awareness to actually take it down with David coming on him like a light. He took it down, and he literally, his touch was exceptional. He touched it and he touched it within a yard of himself. So it was a perfect touch. And to compose himself and put it across for Git, I've seen a lot of players and I've seen a lot of goals, especially against Drogheda early on the season. The ball comes off the post, Darragh Burns composes himself, gets it across for Billy. These things, what a player. It's a privilege to have him at the club now. Now, I know Philip are probably laughing at me here, but
that was a good laugh.
It's great. It's great commentary. This is. I have to say, it's brilliant description of the goal. Exactly what
Philip's enjoying himself.
Honestly, the last right winger Pats have had is Conan, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think Darragh Burns is right up there, and if not, he could go on and do better things than Conan. And I think Conan's a big fan of him. Conan was at the Derry game, and he was speaking about how highly he rates Darragh, and I think he's a player for the future. And look, I hope we hold on to him at Pats, and if not at Pats, I hope we hold on to him in the league, because this fella is special in the league. He's absolutely unbelievable, and I'm surprised at Pats though. Not adding to the squad so far. I haven't been on to really speak about it, but I thought, now in fairness, there's probably been Richie Towell, and obviously you have Derry getting the loan sign and the junior and stuff like that. But
Waterford bought a few in and that stuff.
Waterford bought a few, and Sligo bringing in Adam. But it's been fairly quiet.
Strong kill, actually. In fairness, they did bring in 2 Sligo, to be fair. Yeah.
So it's been fairly quiet around the league. It's not a merry-go-round. So I'm surprised that Pats didn't even, so far, look, it's early days, I'll say we probably will. But, it just shows you we're not panicking. We're probably looking for the right signing and the right player that's probably going to add something to the squad. But, I really do. I think, Pats are, I'm not going to say we're up there challenging, but they're on merit. You just a couple of wins together, the next 10 games are obviously crucial. And, after that, see where you are and deal with it then. But, I think top 4 for Pat was always the priority. And, Cup week coming up, let's see how it goes,
Yeah, Philip, I mean, they are right up there with Shamrock Rovers, to be fair. An extra game played. But, it was a good performance. Drogheda to be disappointed, though, I suppose. Particularly the second half. I think they ran out of steam a little bit as well. What did you think?
Look, lads, I'll cut straight to the chase. There's no way I'm popping what Keano's done there. He's hit everything on the head. Drogheda just didn't turn up, Keith, and that was the end of the like after 25 minutes you thought it was always going to be a Pats result. So I'll keep it short and sweet on my side. It was poor from Drogheda. Pats were really deserved of their win, and look, they'll be really, really this with where they are going in now to the cup week, but I'd say their eyes are firmly focused on this league title. Don't get it mixed up. It's been a while since Inchicore seen the title, and I don't think it'll happen this year, but I'd say that set of players will be focused and really looking at the league rather than the cup.
Yeah, look, they're certainly going the right direction, I think. At Oriel Park, I finished Dundalk 1, Finn Harps 0, and Dave McMillan scored a goal, Philip, in 33 minutes. We'll get on to Waterford later on, but Harps are plummeting here, aren't they? To be honest, really are plummeting.
I think I called this result. I think I said Dundalk would win 1-0. I think. I could be wrong. I did say that. But, no, Keith, to answer your question, I think this is the worst we've ever seen, Harps. As silly as it may sound, the quality of players that they've had has been a lot better. But the other side to it is, Keith, it's usually the opposite way around with their season. It's usually they're rock bottom, and then all of a sudden there's this renaissance of a club that didn't look at and of itself at the start of the season when they were really poor. Whereas this year it's the other way around. And to be honest with you, I think you're going to choose which way you'd want it. You would want it to be the poor start first and then start picking up points because you know exactly where you're going to be at the end of the season if you can see yourself winning each game. And you've got a target set. But whereas with now, like obviously they've got their target to obviously not finish bottom, and that probably won't happen, to be honest. But they're really, really in trouble. And I suppose, look, Waterford have just went and beat one of the top teams in the league. It's shown how much they're improving. And I just think it's really concerning times for Finn Harps fans, to be honest with you, Keith. Dundalk weren't great, Keith, though, on the night. Like, let's be honest, they won 1-0 against a very, very poor Finn Harps side. But saying that they looked comfortable, Keith, they didn't look like they were going to lose the game at any stages. And that was a 5 or 10 minutes where Harps kind of went for it at the end. They tried to go for it, but even at that, you were kind of struggling to say that Dundalk were going to lose the game. So look, I suppose, Keith, very briefly, since Pert's come back in, he's done a brilliant job. Like, make no mistake about it. If you looked at the results that he's had since he's come in, and look at the results prior to him coming back in, it's chalk and cheese. Like, do you know what I mean? There's a massive difference, and players seem to be playing for him, which probably wasn't the case towards the end of his tenure last time. So it'll be interesting now to see if they can keep it going. They'll obviously need better performances to beat better quality teams in the league, but I suppose you can only beat what's in front of you on the night, and Dundalk done that.
Cian, I seen a quote. Who was the best manager? Who would have thought the best manager to replace Vinnie Perth was Vinnie Perth?
Yeah, look, I'm a huge fan of Vinnie. I have said that to you, and even last year when he was gone, I actually came.
Yeah, you felt it was a mistake, didn't you?
You said
he was sacked.
Said on the chat.
I was the first man to turn around and criticise Dundalk. I think everyone was calling for the change. I said, no, Vinnie is the man. And I'd stand by that. I put my life on Vinnie being the man for Dundalk. I think he's exceptional. What he does, how passionate he is about the club. Like, obviously we've seen him giving out, and his passion kind of sometimes come across in an angry way a little bit, in terms of the way Derry obviously spoke about the McElhenney transfer. And now I'd be fairly pissed off too, I'll be honest. You're after coming off the back of a great win in Europe, and it's overshadowed by a statement from Dundalk. Yeah, I know it's fantastic news, and they probably want to push the signing to get it in July, but it's a small league and it's a small circle, and you don't bite the hand off your bit, or you don't. What's that phrase there?
Don't bite the hand that's feeding you.
That's the one.
There you go.
I think you get that a lot in this league. And Philip, there's something flying around your room.
It's driving me mad. It's driving me mad. I have to get rid of him.
What is it? What is it?
It's like
I thought it was a bloody. I thought it was a wasp or something. A fly.
Look at him. Gotta be in my hands, boys. Look.
He's gone again, is he?
You just see him.
Yeah, look at man catching the bat in the gaff that time. Do you remember that video?
Yeah, absolutely. Seen
Can't
that,
see that.
actually, yeah.
You can't see that.
McGregor, he's got no legs left. I thought Dundalk. I thought it was a bit of an exaggeration from Vinny saying that they played probably the best football he's ever seen from Dundalk. I thought it was a little bit of an exaggeration, as much as I like Vinny. But look, they got the win. They're playing on Tallaght on Thursday in Europe. It's a busy time for all these clubs now in Europe, and which going back to what I'm saying, I think obviously Sligo are out of it now. You'd like to think Rovers would be in it. You'd like to think Bows would be in it, and you'd like to think Dundalk will give these a good go as well. So it can kind of play the league in general. We'll get on to Sligo in a minute, but it can kind of play into Sligo and Pat's hands a little bit in terms of this, like with the FAI Cup and a lot of games going on. So I just think Dundalk have settled the ship, and I wouldn't fancy my own side, Pats or any team coming up against them and saying we'll beat this, because I think they've steadied the ship, and I think all the credit has to go to Vinny. And even I think it shows. Chris Shields knew he was leaving, and he had possibly his last 3 games after it was announced. He kind of had the game of his life. He had 3 games of his life. He played fantastically well under Vinny. So I think if that was Filippo or if that was Shane or whoever was in charge, I don't think they would have got that commitment. So I think Vinny has demanded that respect, and I think he's really steadied the ship, and that was a tough thing to do. Like, that Dundalk job now, like, his love, I think, shone over his head at the time when he took it. And look, it's paid off where they are. Fantastic. Whereas for Finn Harps, it's, sure, what was it? I remember they were top of the league for a day or two, wasn't it? At the start.
It just shows when teams can have good starts or even bad starts.
That's
like,
it.
We always say there's a lot, you give them credit or maybe a bit of criticism at the time, but damn well in your head that there's such a long way to go in any season. Like.
Yeah, look, a long way to go, and there still is. Talking about Harps now in 2 weeks' time, that's how tight this league is. 2 weeks' time, these can put a Euro run together. So, it's crazy how things chop and change. Now, I can't see that happening, being honest with you, but it can change so quickly, and they have a break away from the league action. They done reasonably well in the cup. Probably, unfortunately, went out last year to Rovers.
Yeah.
Which was a really close one in terms of the penalty decision. So it was a penalty after a penalty, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
The penalty after a penalty, I think they
say 2 minutes or something, yeah.
And then it went into a handball or something, and he got it again. He obviously scored it, but it was, they came close in the cup. They obviously beat Pats as well. Now, it was a very poor performance from Pats on that Monday night, but cup action this weekend, and it might be a distraction, and we've seen it. Like, we've seen it through the years with teams. They have a bad run the league, and they do great in Europe. Like, you think back on Dundalk last year, Pats in 2009, nearly getting relegated and nearly beating Stoya Bucharest for the same season. So, these things happens, and Finn Harps would be fancy themselves this week. There's no points up for grabs, and it's nearly a free hit for them.
Absolutely, yeah. Finished Waterford beating Sligo, it was 1-0, and that's the issue they have now as well, is the improvement in Waterford. And Mark Bircham has done a great job since he's gone in there. Philip, I think Wordsworth and Nolan have really added experience to that team. The goalkeeper Martin came on and actually performed very well in this match, and I think they've had 3 goalkeepers in the last 3 matches as such have been man of the match, something like that I've heard. But look, we'll get to Sligo in a second, but let's talk about Waterford first and say that was a fantastic result for Waterford. And one, I actually tipped them to win, actually, as well.
Yeah, and I'll tell you one thing, Keith. Like, again, going back to Finn Harps and how they've been chalk and cheese, it's been the same for Waterford the past couple of weeks. It's been chalk and cheese compared to the start. What a start! What a turnaround it's been. And look, they're still down there, but they're not gone. They were gone 5-6 weeks ago. They were completely. There was no hope at one stage. But what a goal to win a game of football, Keith! Like, it was an exceptional strike. The fact he looks up and he sees the keeper. Although he's not completely off his line, he's there. He's out enough for him to have a strike and pop it into the top corner and spread it where it's due. Any goal like that deserves to win a game of football. And like the highlights as well, Keith. Like there was a couple of chances for Sligo, but not too many, Keith. When it comes to it, well, whatever I've seen in the reel, I'm just trying to think. They had a couple of chances to score, but like from the chances I've seen, like it wasn't the best of games. No. I think it was probably one of those games that just had an exceptional bit of quality that completely was high and above the rest of the game itself. And that's what you want to win a game of football, Keith, someone with a bit of individual brilliance. And look, we've discussed it. I'll chat about it very briefly. Sligo have obviously gone through a phase already this season where results have not been up to scratch. But again, they're starting to go through that, Keith, and it looks like it's something that they can't seem to stop. And the fact that they're losing, if you want to finish anywhere near a league title, and if you want to finish anywhere near Europe, you have to beat teams like Waterford that are down the bottom of the league, and they didn't do that. So credit where it's due to Waterford. Sligo will be disappointed, and I don't know where Sligo kind of are going to find the enthusiasm, if you want to say, to rally themselves after a defeat like that. I can see them being turned over in the next couple of weeks with results like that going against them.
I mean, Cian, I suppose Sligo are still only 3 points off the top, Shamrock Rovers, and a little bit of a European hangover, I would suggest here as well. The fact is they're now out of Europe as well. I kick into gear again. They did have a couple of niggly injuries that they weren't picking up previously as well.
Yeah, look, it was a poor performance from them. We watched this game live because I thought it would have been a better game. And I actually had a field bob on Waterford and Longford to win.
Ooh!
Oh, I stuck a tenner on Waterford and Longford, and I think it was 18 or 19 to 1, so it was decent. Now I genuinely thought Waterford would win this. I think Mark has done an exceptional job so far. Possibly, for me, could definitely go and be manager of the year if he does what he does and he keeps up the performance. Because, look, I know we'll look and we'll probably say Stevie O'Donnell is probably at the minute, probably the manager of the year at the minute. But I think Mark is right up there for what he's done, and like to take them from already relegated to where they are now, and he's got a serious tune out that side. The way they're playing, and they really, under him, they're a breath of fresh air. They feel like a new team. They're playing with no expectations. They're playing with no pressure. They're just enjoying themselves. For me, my only worry, I hope he stays. For me, that's my thing. Like when we see lads
going into next season,
when we see lads coming over from, I'm not saying that he's definitely a man that's given so much respect to the league.
I like his attitude or something. I wasn't too keen on John Sheridan, I must say.
No, but he has been fantastic on what he's saying and the way he talks about the football club, the way he talks about the league, and I think it's a credit to himself. He never underestimated it, and he does everything down to a T. And I think the results are obviously shown now. I don't know about the dress sense and the hat, but everything else is.
Maybe it's a good luck charm. Would you not get one of those hats, Cian?
I don't know if he listens, but if you ever see Stephen Henderson when Pats played Cove Ramblers in the Cup a few years ago?
I did, actually, yeah.
Oh, he wore this waistcoat. Oh, my Jesus. So I've never seen that like it. But, had a few dodgy dresses over the years in the league, but I think he's up there, in my opinion now. I think the hat does it for me. Look, he's a real. I know he's not, but he's like a little cockney, isn't he? The way he dresses and the way he walks and stuff like that. But
blinders or something comes to mind a little bit.
He looks something like that. And anyway, he looks like a playing Danny Dyer wannabe. No, but I mean that in the nicest possible way. I think he's exceptional, and he's that really likeable character around the league. And you know, I said it from week one, Keith, when he came in. It looks like the players want to play for him after that little mini pre-season that they had, and you know, we can see it's at improving. Sligo, on the other hand, they're looking. They need a goal scorer. I know you've Johnny Kenny, and you know, I know he's out with the COVID or whatever it is at the minute, close contact, or whether it's a positive, I'm not sure. But you know, you're missing Johnny Kenny, and I still
Harps haven't really lived up to it, has he? To be honest, though.
no. Look, he was
It's a
great.
bit disappointing overall.
2 years ago, he was in his prime, and
Yeah.
actually, you know, whatever happened, and he left last year, and money wise, I would say more than anything. But you know, they're crying out with a centre forward, and you know, they've added 2 to their squad, which I think Adam is a super player. I've seen him play for Shells when he was here, and he was really good. So, you know, we definitely add something to the squad. Liam is a good eye, and obviously Dave looks after all that side of things at the club. But you know, fantastic to see these players coming back and into the league again. But now they're crying out with a centre forward. They're going through another little sticky patch. It doesn't help, obviously, when you're missing your keeper. Doesn't help when you're
goalie for them. Big presence for them.
Yeah, so you know, I think they're obviously missing the keeper and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be worried. They're only 3 off the top, you know. 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, whatever it was. You know, they were
to win the game in hand as such, they're level with Pats, for example. So
you know, 3 or 4 weeks ago beforehand, they were out of it. You know, Rovers lose, Pats lose, and all of a sudden Sligo win, they're back in it. So it's going to be like that, I think, towards the end. I can't see anyone running away with it, at least until the 30th, 32 games in. Maybe you might see a little bit of a gap. But, you know, they've given themselves a fighting chance. And, you know, Cup week coming up as well. So they'll be obviously a big team that you want to avoid as such.
Best of luck to Cork on that one, I suppose. Bohemians won, Longford Town won at Dalymount Park, and I suppose Bohemians made 8 changes in this match. I'll talk about that in a second, but Rob Manley gave Longford the lead. Jamie Mullins, who's one to watch, 16-year-old, scored the equaliser. Philip, I'll start with you here. I mean, they had a massive win, didn't they, in the Aviva, and it was a great performance and all that kind of jazz against Starjan. But was 8 changes a bit too much for you going into this match, maybe?
Yeah, did you remember what I said, Keith, in the review show or the preview show? I said if Bows don't win these 2 games this week, it'll be nothing short of an absolute stinker. Draw to Longford. Look, to be honest with you, I've had a lot of respect for Keith Long over the years, and especially the job he's done, but I think he got it completely wrong. I think he completely undermined Longford, and I think it bit him on the arse, and rightfully so. Longford had chances in the game to win it, and fair play to Daz. He's done a great vlog in the game. I watched that back as well as the highlights, and he was brilliant. So if you're watching Daz, fair play to you, but he was a really good watch. But even by his vlog, Longford really did have chances to win it. Now, saying that, Bows did have a good few chances in the game as well. And on another day, they could have easily put 3 or 4 past them, but they didn't. And I just think it was down to the fact that there was so many changes, as you said, Keith. And I just think Keith Long got it completely wrong. But again, look, Longford don't dictate who starts for Bows, and they went about their business exactly how they should have. They really were up for this game. Manley got the goal to put them up, and look, I suppose I never thought they'd win the game, being completely honest, Keith, even though they played really well. But they'll obviously be disappointed to concede and end up drawing the game. You know what I mean? As I said, it was a changed Bows side, to put it straight. And look, great to see a young lad score on a 16 to score a goal to get his team back into the game. But again, I won't allude to it too much. I keep saying it, but Keith Long got it wrong, I think, Keith.
Yeah, I mean, Cian, it'd be interesting to see the next time Bows in Europe and the league match after that. I don't think there's going to be 8 changes, do you?
Depends. In my opinion, it depends. And yeah, obviously you got it wrong and stuff like that, playing Bastion as a false 9 or whatever you want to call it these days. But, you know, I think Keith came out in his after match interview and said it was a bit unfair to put Bastion up there. And, you know, that's fair enough. And, you know, he did hold his hands up, and you could see at half time he made the changes that did improve. But, definitely improved the squad. They were superb. Second half, they just couldn't get that goal. But Longford, it was mad. It was like a game of pinball. It was literally end-to-end stuff, and it was a real relegation 6-point. I feel about the game for some reason. That's the way it was. It was fantastic, and Longford were putting strikers on with 5 minutes to go, and Bows were doing the same, and it was really good, and it was a proper game of football, and it was one that really excited me, and I was watching it, and I was delighted watching it, and like we've seen it even at Pats this year. We're 1-0 up, we're taking off a striker and a winger, we're bringing on a centre mid and a centre half. We're shutting up shop and defending for our lawyers, but to see two teams go gung-ho at it was, honestly, I really enjoyed it. That for me, it was probably one of the most enjoyable games this season, in my opinion. Now in the league, now, it was something. There was just something about it. I thought, Longford had their chances in the game. The one that really stands out for me was that pass from Lee Stacey right out to Dylan Grimes, and all he had to do was put it in the net. Really, well, he had an awful lot to do with the touch and stuff.
Yeah.
But, he got everything perfect, and he had it all right. All he had to do was put it in the back of the net, and you could see Darragh's frustration, and you could see him saying, "That's the one," right at the end, and they won that. Jesus, like, it didn't help with with Waterford winning as well. So, it was real kick in the teeth, because the point means nothing now, because now all of a sudden they're 2 points adrift of what they actually were at the start. So
it's annoying for them, because they've actually got 2 points the last 2 weeks, which in isolation is bad.
Yeah.
But as you say, they just need to try and pick up points if they can. 3 points, that is.
On the Bow selection, of course, he made 8 changes, and Thursday night took an awful lot out of everybody. The emotion of it alone, with the 6,000 fans, and you'd be mentally drained after a game like that. So I think, and you think of it, like, I don't know whether they would have having a week off work or whatever it may be, but a lot of these lads were probably in work the next morning, plastering or doing whatever they're doing. So they don't have the recovery of other teams, so you can understand all the changes, and they've a big chance, I think, in my opinion, of getting out of the next round as well in Europe. So I think it's, I wouldn't say favourable, because there's no easy toys in Europe, but they've a chance of going through, and I can see why Keith done it. I can see why they changed the system.
Do you think as well, top 3 is kind of gone for Bohemians as such, Keane, with the European games too?
I wouldn't say gone. I really, because everything can happen in 2 weeks. We've talked about Bows in 3rd place now in 2 weeks' time, or whatever it may be. So, I think they're peaking now. They're hitting good form. I'd be confident that they can put a European run together. But I do think they have a great chance here of getting out of this next round and getting another few bob in the bank, which obviously keeps the club afloat and whatever, stuff like that. So you can see why each made all them changes. I think, even being honest, even with the changes, I still fancy Bows to win it. Now, I know I said a minute ago I'll put a few bob on Longford, but you'd fancy Bows to win it. Like, you see the likes of Bastian Hurley, like, I think you can put him anywhere in the play. Obviously that's not the case, but the young fella done really well. Mullins up playing in. I thought he was really good. He's 16. I don't think anyone should start jumping hoops about him. He's 16. He came on. He done well, and the other lad got taken off at half time. The other young lad, and I think I think he was. It was the right call, because it was a physical game. But honestly, by far the most enjoyable game we've seen this year.
Out of all the games this year, really?
Well, honestly, I don't know why.
Just one of them.
I really enjoyed this game. Like, honestly, it was great crack watching. It really was. I thought end to end, all scale. I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Brilliant stuff, guys. Thanks very much for coming on. Like the video, guys. Subscribe if you're new. Hit your bell notification button and comment below. Cheers, guys. Lovely lads.
Thank you.